Everything is not fine with this tattoo. It blew up on TikTok for a very specific reason. So let's dive in and find out what that reason is from the Earthy Llama TikTok account, otherwise known as Jordan La Matina.
So long story short, oh boy,
This has been our saying for years. We don't say hello when we call each other. When one answers,
everything's fine.
everything's fine, which means nothing.
Nothing's fine. Nothing's fine.
Ever.
Everything's fine. It's all good. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm brilliant. Are all code words generally for women when things are not okay.
So it started out, Mandy lives in Alabama. I live in Florida, and once a year we come down, we do Girls' Day, we do Halloween Horror Nights, we do Universal, like it's a whole... So we were like, oh, she's only down for the weekend. It's my daughter's birthday party today. And she came down for the weekend. We decided we were going to get matching tattoos. And we've been talking about matching tattoos for a while, but we couldn't come up with a design.
And then until I was having a bad day at work, like everything is fine, angrily. So she starts her everything is fine in her southern accent,
Everything's fine.
and I start doodling on my calendar at work.
The lady makes the tattoo design herself, which is something very important to remember for later on.
She's like, oh, look at this new way I doodled it. And I was like, I want that. That's my tattoo right now.
Both of the ladies decide that that is the perfect tattoo for them. So they go on the hunt for a tattoo artist. They make an appointment, and when it comes to the day, there's an issue with the scheduling and they can't go to the one they've chosen. So they find another tattoo artist and turn up as a walk-in. Now, most tattoos are done by appointment, and it's quite rare to be able to just walk in these days. Quite important as well that they were walk-ins.
So I screenshot it and I was like, that's perfect. That is the tattoo we need. Like, it is completely 100% us. We say it to each other all the time. And I was like, I want it right here. I want to be able to see it every day. Everything's fine. So we screenshotted it, and this is not a text off the computer. This isn't something he made up. This is her handwriting. The tattoo artist, as soon as we got in there, we were telling them our story, like the whole thing is a tattoo. So he's like, oh yeah, just send it over to me. He took a picture of it, and when he stenciled it, he was stenciling from this way. When he was drawing it out, he was drawing it out this way, not the way you read it. So he didn't notice it. And again, we are distracting this man so bad. And we were talking about his other tattoos. We were talking about other tattoos we were going to get done and how I needed to find a tattoo artist.
And how other tattoos have went so horribly badly.
Pointing out our bad
else.
tattoos. Like,
Yeah.
So it's fine. We were having a great time. And he's like, hey, do you like the stencil? I was like, yeah, that stencil's beautiful. I approve the stencil.
What we were looking for, to be clear, is
How pretty.
I put everything is fine, but when she says it, she doesn't use the is. So we took is out with the apostrophe s. So he changed that for us. So that was the only part that we wanted. That's still my s. He just took out the I and made an apostrophe. That way it was still my handwriting.
So then he puts on the stencil. I approved the stencil. I approved it. She approved it. Her wife approved it. Everybody approved it. We're all talking, laughing, cutting up, talking about the holler and getting tattoos with, frogs and banjos. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing. You had to be there. I do mine first. It takes 15 minutes. That boy was crisp and quick.
The lady has sat there for 15 minutes and now she's got her new tattoo, which she's extremely pleased with. The letters all line up, it's all done straight, and she's extremely happy with it until she shows it to someone else and they say this.
And her wife, she
And
goes,
she barely looks at it.
I show her my tattoo and she goes,
Spelled wrong.
Nobody notices until this moment that everything is spelt wrong. Did you see that when you looked at the picture that I put up, that the Y was missing in everything? Let's put it up on the screen again so you can see. And another thing I'm going to put on the screen is this lady's TikTok name, which is the Earthly Llama. And if you look at that, the llama is spelled wrong. It should be double L, but it only has one L. So, how can it all go horribly wrong? The friend who did the original design spelt everything wrong originally. Her friend takes a screenshot of it and he copies what is on the screenshot. So none of the people involved notice that it is spelled incorrectly. And he does what he always does. He keeps showing the client the stencil saying, is that okay? Is that what you want? Is everything okay for you? And she's so excited to be getting the tattoo that she's not really taking a lot of notice of it. So she's, yes, 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 come on, let's just get it done. And they get it done wrongly. So let's see what the tattoo artist has to say about this. Because once he finds out he spelt it wrong, he is absolutely mortified, as you can imagine. His TikTok account is TTT.Jacko.
All right, so I guess everybody wants to hear my perspective or my point of view on what happened with the Everything's Fine tattoo. Was unlucky enough that it went viral and hit 8 million views in like 36 hours, but I was also lucky enough that my client liked it better and it did not generate a hateful response. Mostly everybody was pretty understanding and it's been pretty good exposure to start there.
Just got to say, he was so lucky that they didn't go off on one that it was spelt wrong. And the irony is the saying itself, everything's fine when it's not fine. And even the tattoo doesn't come out fine because that comes out wrong as well.
Okay, so I had a fully booked day. I started off, finished my first tattoo. It was like this chest panel, half his chest. I thought I was late to my next appointment. Turns out that they didn't even show up. Front desk staff asked me, we have these walk-ins right here, you want to take them? I'm like, all right, bet. I don't typically take walk-ins on a whim like that. I usually am booked up. I'm blessed enough now that I'm mostly appointment-based, stay booked up, and I know what I'm doing, and there's not typically mistakes like this. It's no excuse. I got 2 children. My second was born about a month ago. I'm kind of shot out. I'm tired, all right? You feel me? It's not an excuse whatsoever. So I go up there and talk to him. We're cutting up, making the relation. We're both from Appalachia, this and that. We're like, yeah, talking about music, talking about tattoos, doing everything, but paying attention to what the I'm doing. So I'm chasing this bitch up, got it zoomed in the iPad, not really paying attention. When I stencil it onto her, mind you, you're where I'm at, and it's reading towards her, so I'm looking at it upside down and backwards. I'm making sure that it's straight on her hand. I'm not like reading it. Same as when I'm tattooing it. I'm, in there making sure lines are saturated and straight. I'm not like reading it. Should have been, definitely should have been. So I get through the tattoo, make sure it's all crisp because it's on her hand and everything. She shows it to her homegirl. She's like, hey, look, what do you think? This and that. Whoop-de-woo. She goes, it's backwards. I'm like, at first, I'm like, that's got to be a joke. But then they're both, oh my God. And I'm like, there ain't no fucking way. It's right about when the camera turned on. I'm like, look, let me see that bitch real quick. I look at it, about an internal meltdown, existential crisis. You hear me go, fucking joking. And I'm not talking to them. I'm asking myself because I'm like, bro, you need to get it together. Tighten up. I'm looking at her trying to figure out if she's having a panic attack or if she's really laughing. It's like all coming down in my head.
We're going to look at that moment in the video that he's talking about. Is she having a panic attack because it's spelled wrong, or is she laughing?
she's great. I'm super glad that she was understanding. She was cool about it, and she, you know, it worked out in the sense that the tattoo was supposed to be a reference to the fact that shit's all funny enough. The tattoo up, but ended up being better that way. It won't happen again. I learned a valuable lesson about proofreading, and I was just lucky enough it happened with Jordan and not somebody who was ready to fight about it. But other than that, that's basically it. Shout out to Jordan, and my info to book is in the DM. If you trust me, just don't bring me no words.
It's easy to understand his anxiousness, isn't it? Because he has no idea as to whether she's going to kick off or not. Obviously, some people do, but not all of them.
Everything is fine.
Everything's fine.
We got to protect this man. It was never his fault. It was 100% my design.
Like I said, and nobody caught it. Nobody caught it. So we're laughing, and this man, when he finally realizes that I'm okay, he goes, I think I need a cigarette. And so we go outside, and I was like, listen, man, this is not your karma. This is not your juju. This is mine. Like, if
He's
this
totally
tattoo
freaking
had,
out because his boss was there. I was telling the shop, like, you know, we're gonna take care of it. We still love it. It's perfect for. That's why
and
we're getting the
because it was
tattoo.
such a mass chaos tattoo to get, it was even better. So
He looks at me, he's like, "You're getting the Y." So I was gonna do it the same, but we think it's
once
more
you
funny.
catch it, you can't, you know.
Yeah.
So mine doesn't have a Y. It's
Mine
fantastic.
has the Y.
As we can see, all's well that ends well from looking at this little video clip. How would you be reacting if you went and got a tattoo and it was spelled wrong? From my point of view, if it was someone's name, then I think I would be extremely upset. But just a little saying like that, I don't think I'd be that bothered. And you can have it covered up or you can have it corrected to a certain extent. But let me know in the comments what your thoughts would be. Well, that's it for today's video. I'll see you on the next one. So, ta-ta for now.